Hey guys, welcome back to Any Sport. We love most NFL players for their personalities and their unmatched abilities. They have almost superhuman strength, speed, and strategy, but just like everybody else, some of them just have more faults than others. Today, we're going to be talking about NFL players who fought, attacked, or did some violent crime off the field. But before we get started, be sure to leave a like on the video, comment, and subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so that you can get an update every time that we release a new video. Anyways, let's jump right into it. At number 10, Justin Strelczyk. This player, who spent 9 seasons with the league, doesn't have any crimes under his belt except for one. That being said, it's a rough one to have committed. After getting into an accident, he fled the scene and led the police on a 40-mile car chase. In the process of trying to get away from the cops, he threw beer bottles at them, gave them the finger, and generally just dug himself into a bigger hole than he already was in. The sad part about the story was that the chase ended in his death. He ran headfirst into a semi-truck with his car, and it had flammable liquids in it, which blew up and subsequently killed him. This story is proof as to what can happen when people forget their judgment, don't comply with the police, and just let things happen without really thinking. Next up at number 9 is Cecil Collins. A former running back for the Dolphins, Cecil Collins' career quickly ended after he was given a sentence of 15 years in prison for burglary. It turns out that he broke into the house of a woman that he knew from the gym. She was married, but he knew where she lived, so he decided to enter uninvited. He admitted during this time that he did it in order to see her and sleep that night, which was an extremely unusual reason. You really never do know what people are capable of until they're caught. This crime could have easily turned out to be violent if it went down differently. At number 8 is Barrett Robbins. Barrett Robbins, a former player for the Oakland Raiders, prepared for the Super Bowl one year in an unorthodox way. The night before the big game, Robbins went on a late-night alcohol binge to Mexico. That night, at one point, he crouched in a random woman's bathroom. The police were called because he was trespassing, and he charged them immediately. He was charged with 3 felony murder attempts, and he was shot twice, one of them piercing his heart. He actually survived and continued fighting after the shot was fired, but it doesn't come as a shock that he didn't participate in the game the next day. At number 7 is Michael Vick. Michael Vick is one of the better-known players on this list, both for his ability and crimes against animals, which many of fans did not take lightly, in the slightest. He played for the Eagles and Falcons, and during his time as a player, he was part of a dog-fighting ring. Not only are these illegal, but they're also very cruel and often end in the death of the dogs involved. Vick himself would at times kill the dogs himself, which is brutal and difficult to hear about from someone who is meant to be a role model to the youth as a star player. He's turned his life around, but no one forgets what happened back in the day. Never mess with dogs, because the internet, animal lovers, and the public at large will never let it slide. At number 6 is Donté Stallworth. Stallworth is another sad story of a man who drank too much and regretted it for the rest of his life. After drinking an excessive amount, he, like many others before him, drove on the roads and ended up hitting and killing a pedestrian on the road. He would be lucky enough to be given a light sentence due to the wishes of the family of the deceased, but he had to pay a financial price, face a suspension from the league, and suffer the reminder of his mistake for the rest of his life. Drinking and driving can affect more than just the driver, and Stallworth is living proof of that. Next up, at 5, is Robert Rozier. Robert Rozier, who last played for the Cardinals as a defensive end, was released from his team and immediately joined a cult. They told him that he needed to kill people to properly be initiated, and he did it to become a part of the cult, but he was quickly caught. He killed 7, but did not serve a long sentence because he testified against the cult in a bigger case. He did end up getting 25 to life in prison as a result of his next crime because of the 3 strikes law that makes sentences harsher for repeat offenders. Rozier's story is one of delusion, loss, and confusion. At number 4 is Lawrence Phillips. Phillips may be the best example of a man who needs help for his anger control problems and issues. He's been arrested several times for assaulting women and has been convicted on those arrests. The most notable one that many people have heard about that happened in college when he entered his ex-girlfriend's college dormitory and dragged her by the hair down 3 flights of stairs. That's not even the end of the list of his crimes. Phillips is currently serving a 30-year sentence after he tried to run over a group of teens with his car after they got into an argument at a pickup football game. Yikes. Next up is Gene Atkins. This dude had a little bit of a weird story. After being acquitted once, he was charged for firebombing an associate in his business. The dust cleared, but then his wife called the police, claiming that he had assaulted her, pushing her against the wall and biting her after hitting her with a TV remote. The police showed up at the scene and placed him under arrest after they got through his barricade to his house. Before they could read him his Miranda rights, when he was told he was under arrest, he said, "No, I'm not," and promptly punched the officer straight in the throat. Atkins wouldn't take no for an answer, but it really didn't end up helping him very much. At the end of the day, throat punch or not, he was still the one with 3 years probation when the dust settled a second time. At number 2 is Tommy Kane. Tommy Kane is well known for one of the most brutal murders among a football player in recent history. Kane is known for committing second-degree murder on his wife when she told him she wanted a divorce. He responded by grabbing her by the hair, dragging her down the stairs, and smashing her head into the floor, and then stabbing her in the neck. Apparently, he had drugs in his system during the altercation, and he's currently serving 18 years in prison for his crime. And we all know that he will never play pro football ever again. And at number 1 is O.J. Simpson. Well guys, that's going to do it for today's video, so we hope you really enjoyed. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys next time.